everybody. We are going to be talking about the secret to my explosive LinkedIn growth. And you can also say explosive YouTube growth as well, because for a long time I was very stagnant in my YouTube. I went from being around 2,000 subscribers for 2 years. I've been doing YouTube for 4 years, and now I'm at close to 4,500, right around there. And for LinkedIn, I went from around 2,000 like followers and connections to nearly 5,000. My highest amount of followers that I have on any social media platform is on LinkedIn. I did put a lot of effort into my LinkedIn to be able to grow my my LinkedIn presence and my professional presence. So I'm going to be discussing with you guys uh, essentially like what did I do in order to grow my LinkedIn subscribers or followers, and how did I also grow my YouTube followers as well, because they kind of went hand in hand. So before we get into it, I want to shout out all the people who are watching the live stream right now, and also all the people who are watching the replay. I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Um, first, the first thing that I did was I had to create content. Um, I was about to make a post earlier today about how the best way to be able to get a job in this tough job market is to show that you have motion. What do I mean by that? Motion is just you going and showing that you have the ability and the passion and the forethought to put yourself in position for a job or for an opportunity, whether it be business, a job, whether you're working in the military. No matter what you do, the worst thing that you can do is nothing. The best thing you can do is something, doing something to put yourself in a positive track. So, what did I do? I started posting on LinkedIn about the events I went to. And I started to see the analytics behind me posting, okay, I went to this event. Guaranteed, I got some very low interactions from it, very low impressions. And impressions are essentially to show how well your post is doing with your audience, or an audience of people who may not be your followers but could be potential followers. So, if you're somebody who cares about gaining more followers or really just opportunities, because when I started growing my followers, then that's how I gained more opportunity on the LinkedIn platform and also on the YouTube platform as well. So I started posting about, hey, I'm going to this event, I'm going to that event, this is my review of it, this is what I learned. I started making think pieces and saying, hey, I heard some advice from one of my mentors or somebody I met at this event. And that didn't do well either. As far as impressions, like the opinions that I had didn't necessarily lead to more opportunities or anything. What happened was that more people just started disagreeing with me, which can be good and bad, right? You're not saying anything worthwhile if nobody disagrees with you. But I started noticing that people would because everybody has their own opinion. So the thing that really went like semi-viral on my LinkedIn was just me being honest about my story. So I think that that's what I stand apart in, like the whole content creation game. Not everybody is really authentic or transparent about the things they go through. So I was making content about, hey, I got laid off. That post I did on LinkedIn did really well. So I told them about, hey, I got laid off. This is like my last day. But I'm looking forward to getting more opportunities, and I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm going to be attending every conference, every networking event, every opportunity, every boot camp, any teaching opportunities I can. I'm going to be looking for it. So that's what I did. I put myself in position by making posts like that. So I started saying, hey, I got laid off. And that post by itself made around like 5,000 impressions. And at that time, I had never made that many impressions on my LinkedIn. Then moved on, and I started making content about how I got defrauded, and somebody in India, I'll just tell you, it was in India, they ended up pretending to be a recruiter, and I gave them my social security number, and they ran my credit, and it was like around $17,000 something that they ran up on my credit, because I was like actually genuinely looking for a job. At that time, I was like 3 months in to being laid off, and I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got like, okay, these bills are really hidden, so I need to go ahead and find a job. So I had some pressure on me because, if I'm not making money, other people suffer from that. Other people are affected if I'm not making money. So it's not just me who's being affected. I have to think about other people as well, because other people are dependent on me to be able to make the money. So I got my credit ran for a huge chunk of money. And luckily, I was able to get that reported. I got it reported. I closed down all my accounts. Not closed my accounts, but I locked all my accounts. I locked my credit down on all those credit bureaus. And I made a video about it. I on YouTube, and that did really well. But then I talked about it on my LinkedIn. I didn't have to bring it up at all, right? Because most people will never tell you about their failures. They will only tell you about their successes. But I did tell people, like, hey, I felt a lot of pressure. I needed to go ahead and put myself out there. Even though I was like, okay, well, this person, at first, they actually, what? This funny thing is that they were pretending to be somebody in Arizona working for a reputable recruitment agency. And then turns out the person actually lived in Bangalore, India. So I was like, okay, well, they completely, lied to me and everything, and was asking me for personal information. Gave it to them because I was thinking, okay, maybe that can lead up to the process. And even though I posted on LinkedIn, hey, somebody stole my credit, somebody still disagreed with me, saying, oh, yes, recruiters still ask for that, so you need to be honest and tell people that, yes, sometimes they do ask for that. And I was sitting here thinking, like, look, man, they ran my credit up, and you're still telling me that I'm wrong? I thought that was crazy. But yeah, so they ran my credit up, and that post alone, so I went from 5,000 impressions on the previous post about my layoff to I think it was like 21 to 25,000 impressions on that post. Okay, so I was doing really well on that post. And then more recently, I had another viral viral post on my LinkedIn. Before I go forward, let me shout out to Marcus Antonio Castillo. Appreciate you. I said shout out, salute to you, Marcus. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. All right, so let me see if I can pull it up right quick. And I can share my screen too. So I made this post. Let me see if it shows like the impressions. Yeah, it does. So I made this post on my LinkedIn, and it is just me being honest. I'm making more posts. Where is it? Boom. So this is the post right here. I'll read it to you guys if you want, but right now it's at 42,744 post impressions. The most amount of impressions I was able to make on any LinkedIn post to date. And then we have profile viewers, 2,111 people viewed my profile as a result of me posting this. I'll read it to you guys. It's just about me going over this year. But the post goes like, I went 6 months without a full-time job. I applied to close to 500 jobs. I'm not going to say exactly 500 because I can't get the exact count. But based off of how, because I was laid off for 6 months and I was applying to jobs like every single day. So I rounded up to 500. So that's what I say, close to or nearly 500 jobs. Went on 50 plus interviews and heard no from every job I applied to. I missed 26 paychecks and drained over $30K that I had spent 4 years saving after buying my house. That money is gone. I didn't give up. What saved me was my skills, experience, degree, work ethic, and my network. There were people who called me lazy. Even as I went to every conference, networking event, and boot camp I could find, I volunteered, spoke at events, and posted videos of myself studying for interviews and sharing my layoff journey. Some said it looked like I had too much time on my hands until it paid off. I'm now working for a large company ranked in the top 15 privately held family-owned companies in the U.S. I'm working to impact billions of people's lives daily. I'm helping to make a positive change in the world through data engineering. I'm sharing this to say that if you stay active in building your personal and professional brand, opportunities will come that you never thought you could achieve. So I made this post. It did really well. It got a whole bunch of likes and comments and reposts. The most I've ever had on my LinkedIn. And now my LinkedIn went from, I think I was around like 4,500. Now I'm nearly at 5,000 LinkedIn followers just off of that. So almost 500 followers just off of one post. So I share that with you guys. And actually I can get like the real count. Let me go to it. Let me get the real count. Yeah, so I'm at 4,948 followers at the time of this recording. So, yeah, man. Let me say what's up to the people right quick before we keep going. Shout out to the Geek Surgeon. Appreciate you for tuning in. Got PBO, Professor Black Ops Cybersecurity for the People. Salute. Please go ahead and check out PBO on his channel. Definitely a lot of insightful topics. And also, I know he talks a lot about the AWS infrastructure or architecture when it comes to security perspective. But it does overlap with data engineering, which is my wheelhouse. So we kind of talk about data engineering and security and how they overlap. And it's always a good time. I join his panels very often. So please go ahead and check out Professor Black Ops Cybersecurity for the People. Yeah, man, he has, I think it's like close to like around 30 plus years of experience in the tech industry, man. and just a wealth of knowledge. You can learn a lot from PBO. It's one of my mentors. All right, so but yeah, going back to the LinkedIn and how I was able to grow it. Those posts did extremely well, and it got a lot of eyes on me. But it all is just me showing that I have some motion, that I'm doing something, that I'm putting myself out there. Most people, and I don't want to show like the uh, LinkedIn messages that I get and stuff. Like I will tell people real quick that I got my job through LinkedIn, right? Like I got my job through LinkedIn. LinkedIn helped me get a job, and I would not have gotten a job had I not made any posts. And I'm gonna show you the post that actually got me the job that I have. Well, helped me tremendously with the job that I have now, and it had nothing to do with technology. But this post right here helped me get the job. This post is just me running. Is me running at Hills for Atlanta, the Run Club here in Atlanta, on the Beltline. See, it's just me running, doing push-ups and stuff like that. And essentially, I kind of span it as, hey, I'll just read it to you guys. Oh, and you know what? This post has 6,457 impressions. So I talked about this. It says, personal development doesn't directly affect professional development. I joined a run club, but that doesn't make me a better candidate as a data engineer. People tell me that if it isn't directly related to getting a job as a data engineer, don't do it. Running doesn't have anything to do with coding in Python and SQL. Despite what some may say, it's still important to take care of your health. Personal development builds character, confidence, discipline, mental stability, and relieves stress. I already have proven experience and expertise in coding for Fortune 500 companies, along with a degree and certifications to back it up. My network is full of people who will vouch for my skills. Since I was laid off, I've gained more visibility and have built my network. I've volunteered to mentor underprivileged kids in the Atlanta area, been featured in big-time international magazine newsletters like Forbes BOK, shared rooms with millionaires at the Google Atlanta offices, and started teaching others how to code. I've also spoken at tech boot camps and workshops. I've joined several nonprofit organizations. The job market is tough right now, and getting an offer isn't easy. Staying idle isn't an option. Staying active brings you closer to your goals. So that's what that post single-handedly got the recruiter for the company I'm at now to reach out to me. And so the recruiter reached out to me and said, I absolutely loved your post. I feel like I know you. We have a position open that I'm trying to fill for a data engineer. And I did the interview and they opened up the job for me. They gave me a private link to the position and I applied and got the job. Got the offer next day. So when I tell you guys that, hey, I literally went 6 months without a job, and I got a job through posting on LinkedIn. But I wasn't only just posting on LinkedIn just to get a job. I was posting on LinkedIn to get more opportunities, to show that I was active, doing something that I enjoy, doing something that is just different from what most people are going to do. Most people are too scary to post on any social media. They're too scary to post on LinkedIn or make a video on YouTube. But I'm telling you, this is how you get opportunities. And of course, not everybody can post because sometimes you have jobs where they're very strict about it. But what I'm telling you is that when I talked about the things that I noticed weren't doing well, the things that weren't making me successful, those things were like going to the events and posting about the event. Going to an event and then repeating what somebody else told me. Posting like a think piece about my opinion on something. Those things did not work well in my favor on LinkedIn. But the thing that helped out the most is showing me actively doing something and talking about it and talking about my experience. There is nobody who can beat like a personal story. There is nothing stronger than a person's desire. My desire was not to just get a job. My desire was to get a better job than my previous job that laid me off. And I achieved that tenfold. So when I tell you guys this, is that you have to show the desire of, hey, you know what? I got to do something and post about it. Because if you don't post about it, it never happened. But you have to get out and do something and meet people. When I talk to a lot of people, they say, oh, I'm an introvert. I don't want to talk to folks and stuff like that. I'm not really a people person. I'm like, what are you, a dog or a cat person? You know, we have to be a people person. You have to be able to talk to people because nobody gets to the top by themselves. Nobody who you know who is successful, who is doing things in life, gets there by themselves. They're usually brought up by people. People will see something in them, see a positive thing in them, and then they push them to the top, or they help them get to the top. Like you think about like the best streamers or the best technologists, or any, like if Kai Cenat came up here, he wouldn't say, oh yeah, he streamed by himself, and then that's how he became the most streamed person on Twitch. And like, no, he has a whole team behind him, and he has celebrities and people coming up to his podcast to help drive his audience to watch stuff. He gets advice from mentors and people who are doing well in their careers. So whenever you're sitting there thinking, this is something I need to do as well, is incorporating other people to help you get to the next level. Before I continue on, let me say shout out to all the people in the chat right quick. Also, Marcus, I forgot to give you the number one spot. Let me give you the number one spot, bro.
Coming for that number one spot. All right, man.
Yeah, Marcus. For anybody who doesn't know anything about the number one spot, the first person I see in the chat wins the number one spot. So I just played like the song for you. Just keep you guys engaged. Shout out to the Geek Surgeon. He says, I can't get. I guess he's saying I can't get a job in tech, and the PPO. Yeah, PPO responds and says, just keep grinding. Yeah, man. But like I said, you got to show motion. You got to show that you really, it would be a good idea for them to hire you. That's really what it is. You have to show, but not tell. If you tell somebody that, oh, I always show up on time, I'm a team player, I'm a great person and all this, well, yeah, people say that all the time, but people's words versus their actions are completely different. You have to show people, hey, you know what? Look, I'm really out here making a difference. And see, he says, and then the Geek Surgeon says, not giving up my ship will finally come at some point. Yes, it will. It will. Turn your page into the current X algorithm. Right. Turn your page into the current X. Are you talking about Twitter? Or formerly known as Twitter? Let me show you guys this. So I said in that previous post that, hey, I'm over here teaching people how to code. And I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying about it. I have here a post I just made yesterday. And this is me teaching the kids how to code, how to build a website. Like literally. Right, like that was just so much fun. Be showing them how to make a gaming website using like Minecraft. We got videos, we had pictures, we had buttons and transitions and entrance animations and all kinds of stuff. It was really fun. I had a video of it yesterday. Here's some of the coaches and stuff like that I was working with. It was overall just a fantastic experience. So when I tell you guys like, hey, I told people that I'm teaching people how to code. This ain't even the first time I taught people how to code. I have another post. Let me find it again. I have another post of me showing people how to code. But see, this is what I mean. Like, hey, you actually have to like show people. You have to actually, okay, if you're doing something, you gotta show them. Here's another picture. Let me show. Here's another picture. I was showing her how to code in Python. Is that code sit repeat? See, we were talking. That's a terrible picture though. But yeah, we were talking about coding, and this actually, what's interesting is that this person right here, I'm not gonna say their name, but they were there. We actually had been following each other for some time. We had been following each other for at least a year or so on LinkedIn, and he saw every thing I had posted, and he was like, "Wait a second, man! This is my first time ever seeing you in person." I didn't recognize him, but we had been following each other for a while, and I said, "Man, the world is so small." But yeah, so I was teaching people how to code and doing a lot. I'm just really out here. I remember one of the parents from the hackathon I helped teach the kids how to code at, or how to make a website. She follows me on LinkedIn, and she was like looking through the LinkedIn, scrolling through. She was like, most of these posts are you. I'm like, yes. Because I was looking for a job, I was looking for opportunities, my desire was for a better job than what I had previously. And I got it. And now my desire is to keep going so that way I can get even more opportunities. Since then, if I had stopped at getting the job, then that would have been it. Y'all would have never had saw me on my YouTube channel. Y'all wouldn't have saw me on my LinkedIn. If that's all I wanted and I achieved it and I had no other goal, then I would have just completely stopped. But because I know that there is greater opportunity, there's greater in life than just getting a job or just getting like what my one initial goal was, I knew that I needed to put myself out there even further. So I'm still putting out posts. I'm still a part of nonprofit organizations. I applied for to be on committees for nonprofit organizations. I still going to events. I'm still talking to people and giving my advice and making videos like this. I would, like, if I had just got my job and that's all I wanted to do, I wouldn't be participating in Stream This, where I'm making videos every day in the month of December, so that way I can like put out more content on my YouTube channel. Despite, hey, like people with their families, people inside, not that many people watching right this moment, but there's more people than it was in like the summer. So it's a lot I'm over here trying to do, but what I will suggest is that if you're trying to gain followers, opportunities, anything in life, is that you have to do some action. You have to get out there and do something. Shout out to Tone All Day. Salute to you, man. He said you have no kids, so you have time for that. Man, you know what? I know there was a few people, man. When I go to these events, I'm not going by myself. These people, I'll show you. Well, I don't want to talk about like, other people too much, but I know some people who have kids and they bring the kids with them. I mean, it'd be different if you had like young kids, right? Like, babies or something. I think that's a totally different thing. But at these tech events, one of the organizers I know, has a kid, and he brings his kid all the time to these events, and they they may attend and listen in, but what I think it is like it's sparking more of an interest in technology in the children, more so than just like leaving them at home. But I can understand your point though, Tone, is that yeah, with kids it would be harder to attend like events and stuff. But just posting about the events, when I'm being honest, like when I went to these events, bro, people were like, "Man, you got too much time on your hands." That's what they said, and it helped me out a lot. But if you are somebody who can't attend events, I'm like, "Hey, man, look, you got to start making some posts about like things that you're doing, right? You can't, not do anything. Like if I got laid off, I did have a lot of time on my hands, but the thing that I did was I said I can't be having a lot of time on my hands and not doing anything with it. I have to be busy, and being busy isn't applying to jobs day in and day out. You'll just feel like, okay, you feel depressed. You feel depressed if you had to apply to a whole bunch of different jobs and nothing happened. So I started taking care of my health. I started going to nonprofit organizations, going to events when I can. And you'll realize how much time you actually do have on your hands when there is like no job or no income coming in. You have to get more income. And I couldn't just, like, people were telling me, "Oh man, why don't you just, go to McDonald's or Burger King or something like that, get a job? Why don't you go to Target or something like that, push carts?" I'm like, man, look, like my desire wasn't to just get any job. Like, yeah, you can flip burgers at Burger King. You can pick up trash off the street and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with having a job. But I needed to pay bills. I needed to be able to take care of my family. I needed to take care of this house. There were things I needed that required a good paying job. Like when I was in college, and I didn't make any money at all. Like I wasn't making no money. I wasn't. I was, scrambling and scraping and stuff like that. I wasn't able to do all these different things. I was completely dependent on my family. But now that I'm a grown adult, I'm out here in the world, I have to be able to make some tough decisions. I have to be able to gain a skill set or cultivate or grow my skill set so that way I can make more money into the future. I have to meet more people to be able to get more opportunities. Can't get opportunities sitting around at the house. You can't get opportunities feeling bad for yourself. You can't get more opportunities if you don't do something to put yourself in position. All right, so all those things is what I did. Let me see. Another thing that I did was, and I'm just being honest, like, hey, look, I'm showing people. I told you guys, people kept telling me no. They just kept telling me no to every opportunity. Every time I applied for a job, they was like, no. I would go into the interview on the Zoom. Matter of fact, hold on. This is what make it so bad. I went into an interview, and then they over here answering the phone, to having a whole other conversations while I'm on the Zoom call, talking about, oh man, and they putting me on, they putting themselves on mute, they talking, pacing back and forth, like, and it went on for like 5 minutes. They went on for 5 minutes on the phone, talking, like they didn't care. They didn't care. And I'm in the interview in the suit. You know, I'm sitting here like, dang, you're not gonna even pay me no mind, no attention. So my thing was they didn't care to give me an opportunity. I had to go out there and take an opportunity. I had to show people. I had to show them, man. These people. I remember I tried to get speaking engagements, and everybody told me no. I applied. They were like, no, you ain't talking about nothing for real. I didn't have a job at the time, so they were like, oh, you just broke, just like everybody else or something. I was sitting here like, man, it is so hard to get a speaking opportunity. That was one of my desires, my goals as well. And here I got it. It says 2 months ago. Was it 2 months ago? It's probably like, was it October? So anyway, I got a keynote speech. I got a keynote speech at Motion Recruitment. And I was talking about data engineering, talking about personal branding, professional branding. Right? Trying to help grow yourself, grow your skills. Right? Trying to help grow yourself professionally, and how that can help you in your career path. So that's what I did. I said, I titled it, Nobody Buys Humble, Unlocking Business Strategies from a Data Engineer. I got that from Andre C. Hatchett. Nobody buys humble. But yeah, nobody buys humble. Nobody buys like you're decent, right? Or I'm just not really that good. When you're looking up for food, you look up to see the best in the area, or like to see if they have 5 stars, or what reviews do they have. Is it good? You want to know. You want to go somewhere that's good. When people are trying to hire talent, they want a talent that's good. They want it to be like, they're not gonna regret their hire. They're not gonna regret their hiring decision. Shout out to Mandrell. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, man, I landed a keynote speech after everybody told me no. I had about like, I applied to around, I would say 10 to 12 different like conferences and events and speaking engagements and stuff. I applied to, you know what? And they told me no, or I never heard back anything. I heard thank you for applying, but we're good. And then think about this keynote speech is that they reached out to me. They said, hey, we need somebody to speak. I said, I got you, man. And you know what I did? I went up there and I spoke about it. I spoke about my topic. Nobody buys humble. That was a really, really good, like, first keynote speech and everything. That was awesome. So yeah, and then the amount of people who signed up for it was like around 129 people who signed up. I don't know who all was in like attendance, but that's just how many people was who signed up for it. But yeah, man, it was a packed house. It was a packed house. So when I tell you guys is that, hey, if you are trying to do something better in life, you can't give any excuses. You can't say, oh, what was me? You can't feel sorry for yourself. You just got to keep on going. I feel bad when I first got laid off. I was like, oh my God. First day I got laid off, I posted a video. Right? First day I got laid off, I posted a video about it. Then I kept making more videos. Then I kept making more posts. And You know, that's how I kept growing on my YouTube and my LinkedIn. But just being authentic about my experience and talking to what my audience actually wanted to hear. My audience was also I saw so many people getting laid off. I was like, God, Lee, there was so many people getting laid off. And people got laid off in mass. And you had some people who had not been affected by it. They had not been laid off. So they didn't really care. They had no empathy for people who got laid off. And I was showing the empathy because I was laid off. I was impacted by it. So I'm empathetic to the people, meaning that I understand where they're coming from. I understand their feelings towards getting laid off. I was like, bruh, it was more than just me. It was like my whole team got laid off. They're still doing layoffs, even in it's Christmas time. It's in December. It's almost the middle of December, and people still getting laid off right before the holidays, before they had to pay for all this stuff for their kids. Some people trying to buy houses. Some people getting married. People getting people's family members be dying and stuff. Man, there's so many things that happen in the end of the year. I'll sit here like, bro, things happen like your bills get higher for the heat. It's so many things that hit at the end of the year, and it gets really difficult for a lot of families. School is out. A lot of kids not eating. Like, parents cannot afford to feed their kids, not afford to put clothes on their backs, and people still getting laid off. And companies are getting record profits from after laying people off. Like they announced a layoff the other day. They were like, "Oh yeah, just in time for holidays. Let me go ahead and take that check from you." Right? And you gotta wait. You gotta sign this contract to get the severance package. So, just being honest here, guys, is that which one would you rather be? Would you rather feel sorry for yourself? Would you rather do something about it? Now, I'm empathetic to the people who got laid off out here, man. I know it's hard. I know it's bad right now. I know it's a brutal job market. Because I'm going to tell you, is that when old dude picked up his phone during my interview, and I had been laid off for a few months at the time. And then, yeah. Yeah, I'm on an interview right now, but they did that. That wasn't the first time. That wasn't the last time that happened. That was not the last time that happened. It happened a few times because a lot of people are not really hiring. They're laying off people and they're not really hiring like that. You go into the interview, and then sometimes they do 2 or 3 interviews. So then they do 2 or 3 interviews. They ask you to do a project. And then after you do the project, now what? Oh, you got ghosted. That's what happened to me. I did 3 interviews with the company, did a project for them, did a coding assessment, got ghosted. They never closed the job. And actually, you know what I think happened is that they never hired somebody for the position. I don't think they hired anybody for the position, honestly. And then they reached out to me again, but it was a different person from a different team. And then they ghosted me again. They never closed it out. They never said yes or no if I got the job. So, yeah, man, it is rough out here. And I'm sure that's the experience for a lot of other people, is that they just never hear back whether or not they got the job or not. So, Dub 3000 says, yeah, it's bad out here. Yeah, man, anybody going through this job right now is really tough. People talking about, oh, man, just negotiate. Just get another job. I'm like, man, it's tough right now. It is tough. Like, it used to be to where you could negotiate and get stuff like that. I would always suggest people try to negotiate. when they do get it, they do get a job offer, but you have to get to the point where you get a job offer. Some people are not even getting interviews, and they have experience. Some people are not getting interviews, and they have a degree. They have degree, experience, and network, all the kind of stuff. Still not getting interviews. Yep. They lay off every fourth quarter. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I didn't check. I didn't check to see, right? But I take your word on it, Dub 3000. Yeah, man. That's crazy though how they always that is true because I got laid off. That is my first time getting laid off. I did get laid off in the fourth quarter. Now I think about it, it does make a lot of sense. They're trying to open up for their budget. I appreciate that, man. PBO Professor Black Ops says I did that AWS 6-hour loop just to be told no, and see that's what I'm saying. Like you can go through the interview, and what's gonna happen is that if somebody tells you no, people put it on you and say, "Oh no, you just weren't good. Oh no, you just didn't study enough." Then that's what people just say. You know, and PBO has many years of experience. In many years of experience, he was a professor, right? He was a professor teaching people about cybersecurity and technology. So, you know, what better person for a role than somebody who can teach it to people? Somebody who knows the architecture behind it. But 6 hours is crazy. But I won't lie, because Chick-fil-A was like that too. Chick-fil-A had me I had to do, so the Chick-fil-A process was like 7 or 8 interviews. I went through 7, so it was 8 interviews. They had you do the phone screening. They had you do a video interview. So yeah, I had to record myself answering questions. And as I'm answering those questions, you can pause it or stop it or whatever, and then retake it. You're gonna get like 3 retakes. But I was doing the video interview, sent that in. Then I was doing the all day, like it was like all day of interviews. So, and then that was it 5 more interviews. So I had to do 5 more interviews in one single day, and then they have another interview that you have to do just to kind of check things off. So that's what I did for the Chick-fil-A interview process, and I got told no at the 7th interview. I'm sitting here like, man, you have to do all these interviews and you still don't get the job? That's a huge waste of time. Not only on me, but also on them. It's like, why are you wasting your own time and money? You had to pay the people and then they fed me. They took me out to lunch too. I'm thinking, okay, cool, we good. And what made it so bad is I know exactly who they hired for the position, and the guy didn't even have a degree in computer science. I had at that time I had an internship. I had my degree in computer science, and then so I already had some experience in coding. This person went to like a boot camp and had a degree in music. So I was like, oh man. So they got the job over me. I don't see it like, but it's more so like a culture fit type of thing. And I completely understand that now. But you cannot get mad at a company for not wanting to invest in you. That just means we can't be successful together. That's all that means. I'm going to be successful regardless. You're going to be successful regardless. But we just won't be successful together, at least not right now. Akin says, for every 10 applied job applications, I'm prepared for at least 9 rejections with at least 1 maybe. So I increase the number of places I apply to. If I apply to 100 places expecting 10 warm leads and 1 or 2 interviews with a maybe, And you see how small, how small of a return on investment that is. But my thing is that, you know, you can apply to a whole bunch of jobs, right? And that's what I did. I applied to a whole bunch of jobs, and I got told no from every one of them. So I will say this, is that people do get jobs from applying to jobs. So I would never tell people to not apply. But I think that in addition to applying, you need to put yourself out there more. But you also need to increase your response rates as well. Best way to increase your response rates is to update your resume, so that way you can get more interviews. If you're doing all this applying and you're not even getting interviews, it's a really hard time for you to be able to actually land a job. You have to do the interview to get the job. And what I saw that helped me out the most with getting interviews, I was reached out to through a sourcer on LinkedIn. And that's how I got more interviews. I did like a little bit more than 50 interviews since I started. Like, you know, I'm not going to say like 50 different companies, but 50 interviews out of all the companies I interviewed with. So multiple interviews per like one company. So like 3 for like that one company I was telling you about that had the guy answering the phone while I was on the call. And then I did another 2 with them again, with a different team. So yeah, man, it is it's tough out here, but you kind of have to make it so it's not as hard for yourself. If things are difficult for you, you have to find a way to solve the problem, so that way things aren't as difficult. Things aren't as hard for you. Okay? So essentially that's what I did in order to grow my LinkedIn presence. And I think out of all of the platforms I've been on, is that LinkedIn has the most people who, I'm not going to say the most serious people, but the most amount of people who I know in person who help me progress professionally. That is the platform that I get the most amount of opportunities. Like where people reach out to me on LinkedIn, but they reach out to me on LinkedIn so that way I can come on like their YouTube channel and podcast. Let's see. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see if anybody wants to come up, or anybody can come up. I'm gonna open up the call-in link if anybody is up. Shout out to Ken. Appreciate you for tuning in, man. Yeah, bro. I mean, that mass applying, it is a grind. That is a grind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the call-in link if anybody wants to tune in. Or like log in. And we can go from there. But yeah, man. This job market is really tough. You'll be able to get more jobs. Shout out to Jeff Yu. You'll be able to get more jobs if you increase the amount of people who know you. It used to be about talking. It used to be about it's not what you know, it's about who you know. Now it's about who knows you. So the best way to get more people to know who you are, because let's say this, right? I will go to these networking events, and now it's one-to-one, a one-to-one conversation. But if you talk and bring that conversation onto a social media platform where there's going to be a lot of people, you is going to be more of a one to many. Do have PPO coming up, man. Let's see. Let me see. All right. Hey, PPO, can you hear me, sir? Yes, sir. Give me 1 second as I allow for your audio to be played. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share myself. It's our virtual camera. And boom. So you should be able to see me.
I can.
And yourself most likely.
Yep, I can.
Alright, so I'm gonna hide myself. Alright, cool. So let me share my screen with you, man. Boom, boom.
Taking up all the screen. Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, man. How's everything going for you, PBO?
What's up, man? I went to sleep, couldn't sleep, got back up and saw you was on, so I dropped on and shit. So not great video, like you said. I think my numbers are close to Aiken's. You know, you get 100 interviews, I probably get 10 hits, and I probably get really one interview, even with my experience. I think I get a little ageism, which is what I expect, which, you know, people be freaking out, but that's life. So I think what everything you said is it's definitely true. When I start posting more than LinkedIn, I start getting a lot of recruiters. I think that helped me. When I start cross posting, they would search, I guess, for certain requirements, and I met them. So I probably get a recruiter probably every couple of weeks. A recruiter hit me and asked me if I want to interview or they got some job opportunities for me. So um, I definitely think LinkedIn is great for that.
Yeah, man, that's where the recruiters are. I started going to the Geek Surgeon says he can't hear.
Me or you? Well, I'll let you handle that. I can hear you and me. So
Yeah, well, I see that the audio is coming through on my side.
which one? Aiken, can you hear us? Aiken still there?
Right.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, we can still have a conversation, man. I still see it coming up on the on the OBS for both of us. So
Okay. But yeah, so I like you said, I think LinkedIn is the best platform that, even though I did get my AWS interview out for my YouTube channel. So that was interesting. But like I said, I think the recruiters are definitely more up there on LinkedIn, and it's just a brutal job market. I forgot who said they were struggling. They're getting an interview. Hell, I'm struggling. I was struggling. I had 30 years. So just trying to get an interview. And two is Texas recession. I think 200,000 people got laid off this year. It was some crazy number like that. So um, just got to keep your head up and keep grinding. It's, you know, everybody's going to have different levels of struggle. So just keep working on your craft. So.
Yeah, man. I got somebody coming up in the back, but PBO, man. I got to say this right quick is that with everybody who is losing their job right now, the worst thing that they can do is nothing about it.
Oh, 100%.
Best thing they can do is stop making excuses, get out there, and show people what you're made of, man.
I tell everybody start a YouTube channel and get on LinkedIn. So at least if you documenting your journey and putting your piece out there, you know, people get to know you. You'd be amazed how people, you know, get to know you, give you opportunities, and try to help you. You know, because people reach out to me and be like, "We're friends on LinkedIn. Do you know this person?" A lot of times I do. I'm like, you know, I get their attention for you. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna get you a job, but I can get you their attention for you. So at least I can do that for you. So I get a lot of people reaching out to me. And like I said, my LinkedIn network is growing. I think I'm at 2,000. I'm trying to get 5,000, and I'm trying to get 4,000 in 2025. So shout out to Kev Tech with the 40,000. I'm trying to get forward. So
Let me go to this screen. Um, it said NC. It might be NC worker.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking. What's up, man?
what's
Hey,
going on? Good evening.
hey, NC worker. You want me to change your name?
No, that's fine.
Okay, sometimes people have like their anonymity and stuff.
I'm like, and see my government name up there too. Oh, it is what it is. Because I linked,
Yeah,
I'm usually linked on LinkedIn. Go ahead and see working.
Right. Give
yeah,
me
same.
real quick before we do that. Let me give a huge shout out to JT Coin Rings. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hello BTB in chat. Salute to you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, so NC Worker, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. Hope you gentlemen are doing well.
Awesome, man. So yeah, did you want to join in on the topic? We were talking about
Oh,
LinkedIn, but then also talking about the job market right now.
so a lot of times people don't realize who you connected to and what type of field you're in. That person can actually, if they're already working for that company, can actually kind of bring you in or at least give you a reference to that company. Um, I've I've been privy to have a couple of jobs and people to put in a good word for me, and the jobs that I applied for, those organizations talk to me at least, even if I didn't get the job. A lot of times, I at least get interviewed. I can tell you, there's probably nothing more distressing than what you were saying earlier when you apply for so many jobs, and some jobs you don't even hear from ever. It's like, Dad, did you at least look at the application? Did you at least did you get the application? And a lot of times people just don't. Sometimes people are relying too much on different software. I always say, like, if you're using software to hire people, then what is your HR people doing? That should actually be one of their main functions, aside from just help keep the company saving money for the company. So, you have that aspect of it. So, it's just really just it's a gambling game, so to speak. You have to gamble on yourself and your skills that you already have, and the knowledge that you already have too as well. And it also too depends on where is it that you want to go in life. Like you were saying earlier, yeah, you can find a job, but is that job going to suffice, or do you have another game plan for that job? Is that job that's going to last you until you get back on your feet to something better? Okay, fine. But to just have the job, I think a lot of times people, I don't want to sound high and mighty, but sometimes people's mindset can kind of like show you where they're at and where they may view you. Like, for instance, if people just want to get a job and that's it, then it's like, okay, do I want a job or do I want this job to be a career? And some of the time, a lot of times people just get in this starvation mode where it's like, oh my God, I need a job. Anything with you long as it's legal. Let me just do that. And it's like sometimes, well, yeah, that may be okay in some instances, but is that type of job that you're going to want to do? Is that job going to help you get further in what you want to do? Like if you're doing technology, like if you're in technology or the tech field, we call it, you working in a restaurant may give you some skills, but it's not going to be the skills that you would need to officially work in IT unless you're in that IT department of that restaurant. So, you know, what is it about that job is going to help you get to where you want to go in life? And
Yeah.
I'm also speaking from personal experience myself because I have been laid off myself. So I know that feeling when it's like, okay, I got a couple of months to play with, but in the meantime, let me start applying for these other jobs and places, you know. And sometimes too, you gotta look at it this way too. Are you applying even for contract jobs? I know some people are very hesitant about applying for contracts or jobs that that certain certain projects that may last 3 to 6 months. And my thing is, hey, if it's going to give you that experience, go for it. Especially if it's a job that you want to go into, go for it. Because a lot of times some jobs will even tell you that, hey, we're attempt to hire, or hey, right now we're we're W2 right at the moment, but we'll also eventually after the project we may be able to hire you, put you on permanently full time. And sometimes too, even those jobs still have benefits. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do, where is it that you want to go on.
I agree, man. And something that you brought up as well is I mentioned it in a previous live stream, but especially like in any industry, but especially in technology, is that we have to pride ourselves on being problem solvers. Like any business or any job is essentially solving some sort of problem or some sort of pain point for somebody. But a problem solver really thinks about solving something so that way you don't have to worry about it later. The worst thing you can do is say, "Oh yeah, I lost my job. I'm going to just get another job," but then I still have to keep looking. I'm sitting here like, well, yeah, I can do that for like the meantime, but I didn't solve the problem. I put a band-aid on it. Like I had people in the comments telling me, "Oh, why don't you go work at McDonald's, Burger King?" Somebody told me to work in the cotton field and go back to Gambia in the in the comment section of my YouTube video. But I was sitting here like, well, those things are not going to help me save money. I won't be able to pay my bills. I'm going to still be looking for a job. I'm still going to be making these videos talking about how I can't find a job in tech. Like, it didn't solve any of the issues that I had. It didn't solve not one single problem other than I got like $200, $300 extra for that week. I may be able to eat that day. But, like we're trying to get something that's going to long term solve the issue of being laid off. Like, you don't want to get laid off and then you got a worse job. You want to get a job that's better than your previous one. Or if you go the route of going into business, hey, I'm trying to get enough income from my business so that way I can pay these bills off and then be able to grow. You don't want to say, oh yeah, I'm just trying to, like my whole life's work is gone. Now I have to go work at McDonald's. Nothing wrong with working at McDonald's, but like if you have to like start over completely, and not everybody's in their 20s like me. I'm 29 right now. Man, imagine if you like, in your back to retire age, like you were about to retire, and now you got to go back to working a job that doesn't pay your bills. It doesn't really, or you got kids or something. Like thankfully I don't have any kids. If I had kids, if I had kids, a wife, a sick family member, something like that to take care of, where people's lives depended on me having a certain amount of income, you can't do those types of things. It's not solving the problem. So, just like how you said, NC worker is you want something that's going to be a career, and like I said earlier, is that there's nothing stronger than a person's desire. So you got to put yourself in position to be able to solve your goals. Real quick, let me salute to Larry. Appreciate you, Larry, for tuning in. And Dub 3000 says, "Don't want to be underemployed." Yes. Yeah, you don't really want to be like you can be for a little while if you just need to be able to eat, and nobody really depends on your income. But you can't be like that for long term, man. Go ahead, PPO.
Yeah, I think you had a good point there, especially when you're my age, man. You got to make sure you set yourself up where You hopefully you have a savings, hope you have a fallback. And two, at my age, hopefully you grew your network where you can reach out to people. So, you can always make good money without, stressing. So one of my guys, he actually passed away. He was an ex-military guy. He got a my MBE. He used to always say, "I'm in Indiana," but he said, "If you come to Dayton, Ohio, I always would hire you as a PM if you want some PM work, right?" And PMs make six figures, so that was always my fallback. So as you grow and get older, hopefully you get your network out where you have emergency people you can call. Where if this happens, I know I can go here and be in tech, be in this, making X amount of dollars, right? But that's where, like you said, you got to be intentional when you network and you do those moves. And two, hopefully, you go on or a side business or have contract work on the side where once again you can always make money if you need to. So
Yeah, man. That's really important. And then another thing about the network, as you get older, right? You're gonna meet a lot of people, but it also does save you for like let's say you stay with one company for many years. There's a lot of people who like that's all their network is in one company, and then people tend to like leave from companies very often. So you may find yourself getting laid off because nobody who you grew up with in the company for all those years may be there anymore, and the whole company structure may have changed, or they may go through some restructuring and lay a lot of people off, and they're looking at you like, okay, we don't really even know who this is, but you used to know like the previous
mhm.
VP or the previous C-level executive, and they were really cool with you, but now they're no longer there. So when the new guy comes in, he wants to restructure things under him,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they have their friends and they have their relationships and their network, but you may not be in their network. So you may be able to leverage your network if they go to somewhere else to be able to get another job from another company. You know.
Well, that's you need to be intentional like that. And two, really, that's really what you want, especially now. Most people ain't working 30 years or 10 years at one company anymore, B2B. That's what I used to do. People don't do that. So that's really what you want. So when you work, like I work, I've been a consultant forever. I'm not now, but when I work with those guys. I help those guys. I get to know those guys. You want those guys to get promoted, go to other companies, other projects. People were amazed at DOD when our project kind of got killed. I used to go help other people's projects, so I got invited to other projects. People say, "Well, how do you did that?" Because I used to help people. They'd be like, "Well, I'm trying to do this Oracle job." I'm like, "Oh, here's the JDBC connection to get an automatic rollover." That was hard in 2005. You can do but once you help people or you go around and help other teams, you grow your network. I was in the grocery store, and this guy I used to work with as a consultant for the state of Indiana. He heard my voice and recognized it. He's still there. I'm like, I might need to come back there, man. I worked there for 10 years and get this partial pension. He like, well, come on back, man. I'll give you a reference. But over the years, that's me helping him because I joke with him. I said, you probably don't want to see me. He's like, man, you one of the easiest people I had to work with, right? Because I try to help people get, like you said, if I give you a problem, I'm gonna give you a solution. Now you might not like my solution, but my ex-boss used to tell me, don't come in here and drop a turd, Hightower. You need to come with some solutions. So I would just kept that in my mind. So if I give you a problem, here's my architecture, here's my design. Now you might not like it, you might want to go with a different tech stack, but I'm always gonna have a solution to a problem that I see. Right. So
Mm-hmm. I think this question is for you, PPO. It says Dub 3000 asks, "Do you have a clearance?"
when I was at DOD, I have a clearance. I currently have a NAC 86, I believe, which is a new thing for a low level clearance like that. And I got an FBI fingerprint background. I do a lot of IRS work. You got to get your fingerprints taken. So I do have some low level clearance. I don't have the secret or the top secret anymore. But no, those are the two clearance I have. And I see a lot of companies asking for the a NAC. Usually they have them all listed, right? NAC, which is public trust.
Mm-hmm.
Secret, top secret, and my boss I probably interviewed. I think he had the top secret with the polygraph.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so you want to get those clearance, those will help you. And two is if you got a good background check, I mean, if you got a good credit and a background check. Getting a background check, especially a NAC public trust, is not that hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. NC Worker, you still there with us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, NC Worker, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I mean like pretty much. I mean, like you both said, a lot of times it also depends on what time in your life that you're in. When it comes down to trying to find new work. So, and like it's already been stated too, you find something that you actually want to do that you can see yourself doing for at least 3 to 5 years. Because typically, a lot of times, people don't realize if you stay with a company for anywhere from 3 to 5 years, that really 3 years, that's really past the entry level of a lot of jobs. So you can then, after your third year, so you can then be considered as a specialist because you passed the entry level part. And you can go on to move on to something else. Also, too, look for ways to move up in your organization, if not the same department that you're in. If you're in like cybersecurity, let's say you see a manager position for information systems or information technology, then you can apply for that. And then that way, once you become a manager, you can then pull in somebody else who you cool with, so to speak, and then they can be able to do the same thing too and be able to glean from you as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I think that, like I said earlier, is that nobody gets to success by themselves. So people have to bring you up, right? Like, there's not a single person out here who's completely self-made with no mentors, no help from anybody, no references or referrals, nobody vouching for them. Somebody has to get out there and vouch for them, give them a reference or referral in order for them to be able to get to the next level. PPO, I see that in the chat they answered it, but do you want to go ahead and answer that question? Just so we have it on the video. How do you get security clearance?
For me, usually your company, when you get hired as a consulting company, usually if you have special skills, when I had Oracle, I was an Oracle DBA. They hired me, then the company paid for my security clearance. Of course, usually they want you to sign something saying you're going to stay 2 years, or like my man NC workers say, 3 years. Because I think the top secret polygraph is 30 grand. Hell, that was 10 years ago. I don't know what it is now. But yeah, the company usually pays for it. Usually, once again, what your skill set is, and usually a lot of times if you get a security clearance, you're working on a government or state contract. All the ones I've done, I've been working with, once again, state or federal contracts. So then they just pay to get my security clearance. Once again, right now I got a NAC, which is a public trust, and I think I got an FBI fingerprint because I do a IRS work. So I think long story short, I think my IRS fingerprint one might be coming to them because I think they're good for 5 years. So, but no, that's it. Is that what they said in the chat? Guess
Yeah,
I need to look in the chat.
The government, if you work for the government, they usually sponsor or pay for it. Yeah,
he's correct. Once again, I usually work for private firms because they make a little more money. But the private firms are usually getting government work, so they pay for. But he's 100% correct. If you get a government job, I'm thinking about DOD offered me a job 10 years ago. I'm thinking about maybe going back to work for DOD. Long story short, I'm almost 60, and if you work for 10 years, you get a partial pension. Now, 401ks, they say Gen Xers are broke. That is because pensions are no more. People are not saving up properly for their retirement. So I want to make sure I'm not begging B2B to cash at me when I'm 60 and shit. So I'm trying to make sure I'm set up correctly. So I'm thinking about going back to the state of Indiana. I worked there as a consultant or DOD and maybe working 10 years. Because now I think with my age, I think you got to work to 67 to retire with the Social Security. And hell, I think the new administration about to cut that a little bit. So that's going to be interesting. So throw it back to B2B. I've been on my soapbox a little bit.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Well, it is 12 a.m. on my side of the world.
Facts. I'm on your side. Go ahead. I'm dozing back off. But go ahead.
Yeah, man. I don't want to hold you guys up. I appreciate you for coming up here, man. Is there any last words you guys have?
Well, I'll go first. I'm the oldest. No, B2B's giving great information. Please subscribe, please, and don't give up, man. It's in a recession. I came out in 1990, and it was a recession similar to this. The first job I got, I wasn't even the first candidate. I was the second candidate. The first candidate took another job. So sometimes it's timing, and it's your time. And I think it's your time. If you grind, study, get your cloud search. B2B mentioned it. The cloud is now. Get your AI in there. AI is going to take a lot of people out. So make sure you working on your craft, working on your skills. Tech is, I think, is here to stay. It's just kind of morphing into something a little different.
Yes, sir. NC Worker, you got any final words?
And thanks for allowing me on your platform and up here. Thank you very much. Yeah, at the end of the day, just like PBO says, just keep grinding, keep going. Don't lose focus. Don't get discouraged. I know it's difficult because that's easy to happen, but just keep going. Eventually it's going to come, and see if you can also look for other ways to capitalize on your skills. Like if you're having a hard time finding work, well, try to figure out a way how you can kind of consult yourself out or 1099 yourself to other companies, and not so much as like big companies, but just small companies, like people that kind of like started from the bottom, like your local area. Or, if you live in a metropolitan area, see if you can go into the outskirts. See if there's a small organization, like a small consulting firm or a small, tech firm, so a lot of times, or a tech startup company, a lot of times they may not have everything that is needed for that organization. But if you go to them like, hey, look, you may not have any opens, but will you be able to hire me as a part-time or person or as a 1099 person until things get better for you guys. And let me show you what I could do. Try to find other ways, avenues too as well, to also display your skills as opposed to always just wanting to work for a company or organization. Mm-hmm. And thanks for having me.
Man, thank you so much, NC Worker. I agree with both of you guys, man. To extrapolate a little bit more on NC Worker's part, is that's what I did as well. When I was laid off for 6 months, man, I started working for small businesses and startups, building their websites. So that way I can just make a little extra money on the side, but then also to kind of like put something on my resume to show that I actually had some more skills. So that I'm not just sitting around not doing anything. Yeah, man. But I appreciate you guys for coming up here, man. I ain't gonna hold y'all any longer, cause I know it's late wherever you at. So I appreciate you. I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming up.
Take care.
You too. All right. So that being said, guys, I will see you all in the next video. And we're 8 days in. Right now is the 9th day, but we're 8 days in to stream this 8 videos and or live streams. So far out of 31 I'm going to be doing for the month of December. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please do hold me to it and keep me accountable for at least making a video and or stream every single day in December. That is the challenge that I am making. And like I said earlier today, is that there's nothing that is stronger than a person's desire. My desire right now is to make it to 31 days making some content on YouTube. That being said, guys, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Shout out to all the people who are watching the live stream right now, and also all the people who are watching the replay. Really do appreciate you all. Please go ahead and hit that like button, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And also hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified whenever I make new videos on YouTube. Do not forget to build